All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start off by saying, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Kol Haloyim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakat Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Aqua that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. The brother Shuwab Amwan back at you with another lesson. And the title of this lesson, all right, is called The Lord Was Angry with Those That Smoked Weed, man, cannabis. Okay? Because you got a lot of people think that it's okay to go ahead and defile your temple, all right, because your body is your temple, all right, and that's how you spiritually get in tune with Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, man. And people think that they could go out there and smoke all they want, man. But you have to understand that the Lord said, follow not in the way of the heathen, all right, because smoking cannabis is a heathen custom, man. All right, that goes all the way back to the times when the Persians was ruling. All right, which we're gonna read Ezekiel 8, because a lot of people be like, oh, well, it doesn't say nowhere in the Bible that you could smoke, that you can't smoke weed, but it does. This is why you have to look up words, and words have root words that have the actual meaning to things, man. All right. So Ezekiel 8, and which at the end of the day, you know, smoking cannabis is witchcraft. Why is it witchcraft? Because witchcraft is what? The mixing of potions together. All right. In today's society, cannabis is not really cannabis. It's synthetic. It's synthetic and it's chemically made. All right. Even if you make teas and make edibles, butters, whatever, oils, all right, those things are still not they're still not potent, man. They're still chemicalized. Yeah, you're turning into oil. Yeah, you're making it an edible, all right, or a tea or whatever, but the cannabis itself is still chemically made, okay? And the way they make these edibles today, all right, that shit is not normal, man. That shit'll bug you out, all of that. So it goes back to witchcraft, man. Okay. So going back to Ezekiel 8, all right, 8:1. And it says, the vision of abominations in Jerusalem. Ezekiel 8:1. And it says, and it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I sat in mine house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, fell there upon me. Then I beheld, and lo, a likeness as the appearance of fire, from the appearance of his loins, even downward, fire, and from his loins, even upward, as the appearance of brightness, as the color of amber. All right. And it says, and he put forth the form of an hand, and took me by a lock of mine head, and the spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of Yahweh to Jerusalem, to the door of an inner gate that looked toward the north, where was the seat of an image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy, which made what? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai jealous. right? Because they were out there doing what? They were worshiping images, man. All right, and our power is a jealous power. Okay, it says, and behold, the glory. Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. This is give me 1 second. This is come on, it doesn't want to come out. This is Exodus 34:14. It says, for thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord Yahweh, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power, man. You see? And that's why he comes and he visits every 3 and 4 generations. He comes and visits those that hate him, as the scriptures say. All right. So going back to Ezekiel, the 8th chapter, all right. Back on 8:3, it says, and he put forth the form of an hand and took me by a lock of mine head, and the spirit lifted me up between the earth and the heaven, and brought me in the visions of Yahweh to Jerusalem, to the door of the inner gate that looketh toward the north, where was the seat of an image of jealousy, which provoketh to jealousy. And behold, the glory of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, power of Israel, was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. All right. Then said he unto me, son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted. All right. Hold on real quick, because I want to go into this last verse I was reading. Going into a chariot, man. So you had a chariot that took, all right, Ezekiel to another side, all right, to show him this, all right, what Israel was doing, okay, the abominations in the sight of the Lord. Because what does the scripture say? The eyes of the Lord is upon the sinful kingdom, beholding the good and the evil. All right. As a matter of fact, it has said that he came in his glory. All right. Let me see. It says right here. It says, what was it? Excuse me. There you go. 4. And behold, the glory of the power of Israel was there. And what's the glory of the power of Israel, man? The power of Israel is who? All right, Yahweh Shai, man. And what he gonna come in his glorious apparel? All right, coming in his glory, which is what? The chariots, man. All right. And it says, then he said unto me, son of man, lift up thine eyes. Actually, let me read it from 4. And behold, the glory of the power of Israel was there, according to the vision that I saw in the plain. Then said he unto me, son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar, this image of jealousy in the entry. He said furthermore unto me, son of man, seest thou what they do? Even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here, that I should go far off from my sanctuary, but turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations. And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. See, so the Lord's telling him, go in there and check, and I'm going to show you the wicked abominations that our own people are doing. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beast, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. It says, and meaning that there were various idols that were being worshipped, all right, by the people of Israel. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancients of the house of Israel. And in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancient house of the house of Israel do in the dark? Every man in the chambers of his imagery. For they say, the Lord seeth us not. The Lord has forsaken the earth. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was towards the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. All right, they were weeping for the god of Tammuz, the women. All right, and it says, then said he unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn ye yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. All right, even more detestable sins that the Lord is already showing them. Okay, and it says, and he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and their faces toward the east, and they worshiped the sun toward the east. Okay? It says, then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? It is a light thing to the house of Judah, because this is the point right here. It is a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here. For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine eyes with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. Okay, so let's bring this back again, because this is the point. 17. Then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? It is a light thing that the house of Judah, that they commit the abominations which they commit here. For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, meaning look, they put the branch to their nose. Now, when you go into this word branch, all right, in the interlinear, okay, the word branch goes to Zamora.
Zamora.
All right, it goes to Zamora. Okay, it says outline of biblical usage: branch, twig, shoot. Right now, when you go down to the Jacinius Hebrew, all right, the lexicon, it says, let me bring it up. It says, I don't know if y'all can see it, but when you, nah, y'all can't see it actually. I'll just read it. It says a vine branch or twig, so called from being pruned, generally a branch or shoot, and lo, they're using the term that we just read, and lo, they put the branch to their nose. And then it says, this is referring to the Persian custom of worshiping the rising sun, holding in their left hand a bundle of twigs of the plant called barsum. Okay? Of the plant called barsum. All right, now we're going to grab this word barsum. All right. Matter of fact, let me grab this because I have this in my, I screenshotted it. All right. This is from Academia Education, right? It says hashish and other psychoactive substances in the Islamic world. Okay. It says mystic use of cannabis continued in Persia through the late, how you say this word? Zoroastrian period, such as chars, barsh, related to barsum. Okay. So now we know that barsum is going back to being cannabis. It's just another name for it, man. You have to understand that these people, you know, names switch throughout the years and throughout the generations. Okay. Now, I have a PDF that I downloaded. All right. I'm going to read some of it. All right. It says cannabis culture. Okay. Actually, let me see if I can flip it this way. No, I made it smaller. Salakia. All right. It says cannabis culture. It says while there are a number of local differences, the use of cannabis was a varying intensity. Hold on, let me make this bigger because these words are small. A varying intensity has had a time-honored role in many Muslim countries. Mystic use of cannabis. Yeah, mystic means to be magical. All right. Anything that has to do with magic is already witchcraft. You see, so it's already being used for mystical use of things. Okay, it says mystic use of cannabis continued in Persia through the late Zoroastrian period and into the early Islamic times. The earlier use and its continuation in the early Islamic period is attested to in many texts reviewed here. Its use during the Zoroastrian period was strictly prohibited from anyone but the most elite members of that society. And so, yeah, because they used to do rituals with these things, man. Okay. They will worship their gods. They will worship the sun. All right. Which also that shit goes back to the god Shiva, man. All right. India was into that shit. Going back and smoking cannabis. Okay. So it says only the most elite members of that society and subjected to much secrecy surrounding its use, contributing to misunderstandings. Most of the more mystical branches of Islam adopted the use of cannabis, but this ancient religious use of cannabis use is currently generally met with disbelief and disdain. Colonial control of the Middle East and India by the British imposed their views and norms, pushing Sufis who used cannabis products, further driving this let me say this word. Hold on, give me 1 second. Damn it, don't let me click on it. All right, it says further driving this entheogenic substance from practice and public view in our modern day people have been executed for smuggling hashish into Islamic countries, and the Quranic bans on alcohol are often interpreted as religious prohibition on all intoxicants. However, This has not always been the case, and in the past centuries, there have been at times tolerance for cannabis, opium, and other intoxicating substances, even embracement. All right. So again, it's telling you what, that this was all being used during the time of the Sorosian period. All right. And when we was just reading Ezekiel 8, all right. Let me grab it real quick. Give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure it says Sorosian in here to show you that it goes hand in hand with it. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Nah, it didn't say it. I probably was thinking about when I was reading the article. Salakia. Okay. So let's go back to that. It says, let me jump down to, all right. This can be particularly identified when following the history of cannabis through Islamic culture, especially the history of hashish, which will be the focus of this essay, although other drugs will come into play as well. All right. Well, at the end of the day, drugs, period. See, drugs, period, are customs of these heathens, man. All right. It says the popular and widely used Arabic term hashish is itself a nickname believed to have been derived from a more general word meaning herb and was applied to hemp resin products in the same way the generic grass came to refer to cannabis in the 20th century. Most likely, it may, and they put that twice, most likely it may be simply the herb as distinguished from all other medicinal herbs. Translations of the medieval Islamic names for cannabis products include the one that cheers. Right, these are different names that they had for these for basically cannabis. It says the one that cheers. They had one called Little Morsel, Shrub of Emotion. All right, which is funny that it says Shrub of Emotion because I was reading, I forgot, I couldn't find it. I thought I had screenshot it, but I was reading up on something with Shiva. All right, and basically what they were saying was that cannabis was used to seduce the men. All right, the women would use cannabis to seduce men. All right, to get them to do whatever they wanted to do. And it's funny because spiritually, it's the same shit today. What do men do? Oh, they'll tell a girl, yo, you want to hook up, you want to link up, you want to smoke something, all right? Because you get, when you smoke, all right, these people want to have sex, all right? So they end up, you get more in a seductive state of mind, okay? That's what these people do out here. All they want to do is smoke blunts and have sex, man. See? So it's used to seduce you, all right? Because at the end of the day, it's a demon, all right? We have to be careful with those seducing spirits, like the scriptures tell you, man. So it's called, another word is shrub of emotion, okay? And that's why I brought that up, because, these people today, they'll smoke, and that's what comes out of them, emotions, all right? And one of the main emotions that comes out of them is that I don't give a fuck emotion, okay? And when you get like that, that means you could care less about what the law is that the Lord had given unto you, man. So it says shrub of emotion, shrub of understanding, peace of mind. They even called it girlfriend. The one that facilitates digestion, the pleasing one, visit of the green Kaider. I believe that's what it says. Then it says, the one that connects the heart, provision, Now, this is the one I really wanted because it says branches of bliss. Did we not just read that the Lord was pissed with those that was putting the branch to their nose, man? Okay. It says thought morsel. Another one is the one that lightens the load. Yeah, that I don't care attitude. what did this guy say? Dumbass, Cat Williams. All right, take a hit, and you're like, fuck them goddamn lights. You know what I'm saying? You don't worry as much. People don't worry when they baked out. Okay, because they use it to what? To take their mind off of what's really going on. All right, try to give them that peace of mind, like they just named it. All right. It says branches of bliss, thought morsel, the one that lightens the load, medicine. Look how blasphemous this is, man. Holy Jerusalem, they called it. There's another one called sugary, the pretty one, medicinal powder, peacock's tail, consolation, the one that brings good appetite, the one that brings the party together. The little agent, amber scented from Zion. See this shit? And those are the names they give. Then it says the rich variety of epithets bears evidence of the long and magical history of hemp products in the Arab world, and this widespread popularity to the fact that cannabis is not explicitly prohibited. It's not prohibited. It says like alcohol in the Quran. Early Islamic commentators never failed to remark on the fact that hashish is not mentioned in the Quran or the old prophetic traditions, nor were they able to find any express reference to it in the name of the four legal schools. All right. It says, while there are a number of local differences, the use of cannabis with a varying intensity has had a time-honored role in many Muslim countries. This is in contrast to the use of alcohol, which from the religious point of view became the prime forbidden intoxicant. These are many reports that hashish was also used in medical preparations. Yeah, because back in the day, you could use it as a medical preparation in those times because those things was more natural in those times, man. If you go to Jamaica right now where the shit grows wild, that's normal. That's normal cannabis. That can be used to make a tea. All right, that can be used for something to heal, help you heal with something. Okay, but if you come here to America, everything's synthetic. It's all grown in greenhouses and shit like that under special lights. All right, you have to mix this and that pesticides on it so bugs don't get on it. See, this is why it's all messed up and it's all synthetic and filled with chemicals. All right. Then it says, this is in contrast to the use of alcohol, which from the religious point of view became the prime forbidden intoxicant. There are many reports that hashish was also used in medical preparations. It has been suggested that the interpretation of the Quranic law on intoxicants might have been more tolerant towards the use of drugs such as opium and hashish because of the paucity of means of relieving pain in the, hold on, I gotta switch it, in the medieval Muslim world. All right. Let me see what else, because it's just gonna talk about, there's parts in here I don't really need. Yeah, that's all right. Give me one sec. Origins. Let me read that part. Origins. It says, some have suggested that hashish and cannabis were virtually unknown for the first few centuries of the Islamic era and did not become popular to the 12th century. However, although not known to the masses, there are clear indications that some mystic use of cannabis had continued on in Persia. Though through the late Zoroastrian period into the early Islamic times, although this needed to be cloaked in secrecy. Let me see what else I have here. That's pretty much the point. Let me read this part. It says, as Joseph Campbell explained, it is obvious that in every syllable, Islam is a continuation of the Zoroastrian Jewish Christian heritage. This influence is particularly apparent in Persian Islamic groups such as the Sufis, Ismailis, and Assassins, who were all largely influenced by the Zoroastrian tradition and their use of hashish. As shall be discussed, it clearly a carryover of the Persian ritual of cannabis infusions. The name magi, from where we get terms like magic and magician, is generally associated with ancient Zoroastrianism, wrote over a century and a half ago. It says the Magi appear to have been acquainted with the neurotic properties of opium, hemp, and other substances, and by long fast and administration of these opiates induced a state of trance or ecstasy favorable to the conception of visions and stimulations of accesses of inspiration. Yeah, because believe it or not, man, some of these damn cannabis plants, man, they're strong as hell. You know, when I was in the world, I used to do that shit all the time. And some of that shit is very heavy duty, man, to the point where they're mixing it so much with different types of chemicals that it might actually make you hallucinate, man. All right. As a matter of fact, see, this is another thing that the Lord was looking back in the times was when you had Gad, all right, you had the native Indians, they used to gather around the fire, man, and they will smoke hashish, cannabis. They will do things like peyote. Peyote is comes from the actual cactus. That's the cactus juice, you know, and it basically goes back to being LSD. That's how they make LSD, what you would call acid in these days. And what were they doing? They were around the fire doing rituals, and then they start to see visions and they start bugging out. And we even have religious experiences, and that shit really happens. Because when I was in the world, I used to do all that type of stuff. I used to do shrooms and acid and shit like that. And every time I did those things, you will end up having religious experiences. But it's at the end of the day, it's demons, man. It's witchcraft and sorceries, and demons are attacking your mind and messing with you. Okay? That's what all that seeing things that are not there, it's all mental, man. You see? But it said, what was I? Okay, it says, they were accustomed to the spirits with loud, see, look, they were accustomed with the spirits with loud songs and chants, either of triumph or woe, in entreaty or indignation. You see? Yeah, because that's what they were doing. They were basically summoning and calling upon these damn demons, man. All right. And then they will call upon the spirits with what? Loud songs and chants. Same thing today they're doing to you. They feed you this bullshit music that destroys your mind. And what are you doing? What are these people out here? What are people doing? They all think they're fucking rappers and musicians and all that, and they all love to smoke weed and they love to listen to music. Okay? So what is it going to do to you? It's going to do what it just told you. All right? It's going to bring them spirits. Now you're going to start singing loud songs and chants, because that's all these damn songs are. All these rap songs that these damn devils come out with, all it is chants and sorceries, man. You repeating the words. Like, I'll give you a quick example. When you had stupid ass Rihanna come out with that song Umbrella, when you really go into the meaning of all that shit, when she says umbrella and she says Ella, A, when you go into that, that's a whole chant of some ritual ass deity that they're calling upon, and people won't understand that. They won't notice it. Why? Because they're seduced by the cannabis that they're smoking. Okay? I don't give a fuck attitude. You see? It says in the Zoroastrian text, where cannabis was known under the names Mang, Banga. That's funny because that's spiritual, because our people, I got that banger, you know? It says, Salakia, more than a mild high was sought. It was used in potent infusions that would leave the embibber comatose for days in some cases. In reference to Zoroastrian expeditions into the world of the afterlife, Shaw Shaped noted the preparation of this journey was done by administering Salakia to the officiant Salakia, a dose of Mang hemp mixed with wine. In Zoroastrian tale, the Artak virus, Namak, hell, purgatory, and heaven, the rewards bestowed on the good and the punishment. I didn't have no more. I think I was supposed to screenshot one more page and I didn't. But you pretty much get the point, man. All right. At the end of the day, all this goes back to being what? Heathen customs, man. People will say, oh, it doesn't say that it's in the Bible that you can't smoke, but we just read it, man. The Lord was pissed off at those that was putting the branch to their nose. Branch went back into Barsum, man. Okay. Which Barsum came back into being what? Plants. All right. And if you look at blunts, when these people smoking blunts, does it not look like a twig? It looks like a stick. Matter of fact, you'll hear somebody be like, yo, I'm about to go home and smoke a stick of haze. You see? A twig of haze. All right. Let's grab this word Barsum. All right. I got it from the Google. All right. It says a Barsum is a ritual implement used by Zoroastrian priests to solemnize certain sacred ceremonies. Okay, the word Barsum derives from the Avestan language bearsman, which is in turn of a substantive of bears or bears. I think they're trying to say bears, which means to grow high. You see? So there it is. That's pretty much the point. You know, Salakia, if I was all over the place, all right, I was just trying to make the point. And Lord willing, it was edifying. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much the point. So for those that are out there, because you had not too long ago, you had these camps out there trying to tell you that it's okay to smoke weed. No, it's not, man. You're defiling your temple, man. You have to keep your temple holy for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You see? So there's no way that you should be out there smoking witchcrafts, man, and putting demons in your mind, because that's all that's going to bring is just a whole bunch of demons, man. All right. So for those that think they could smoke, you can't smoke, man. The Lord's going to be pissed off at you, and the Lord's going to destroy you, because the Lord said he was going to destroy them for the wickedness that they were doing, man. All right. So, hey, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. So with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloyam La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shad, Bahashem, Rakat Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazalo willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Barakatah.